Hello, welcome back. Today we have a very exciting interview with a gentleman from the U.S. who's been here in Ghana for over a decade. So I am here at One Africa out here in Cape Coast, and I'm very excited about doing this interview with this man because he has a lot of insight for you guys to hear, and why we like to come from US. So get ready, get prepared for the interview of your life, because this man has so much knowledge you guys don't even know. So I'm even thinking that this video might be a little long because he has so much to talk about, and we can't put everything in. So I'm wondering, like, what will we take out, or if we can, or if we will, or if we even want to. So get ready, because it's going to be a really good one. So here we go. All right, you guys. So I told you that we're going to have a very interesting interview with a gentleman from the U.S. And I will allow him to introduce himself and let him tell you his years of being and coming, because it's been many years. So please introduce yourself.
Thank you. My name is Nick Yasha, and I received that name after I got here.
Okay.
And I received it not from a Ghanaian family. I received it from a spiritualist back in the States.
Wow.
Told me that I should change my name again. This is not my first time of changing my name. So I went on and followed what she said. But I'm gonna start my journey like this. Some years back, 1986, 87, I was traveling through New York City going home. And as I was traveling, I stopped in Manhattan. I stopped at a light, and a car pulled up next to me.
Oh, that was scary.
And the brother said, roll down your window. And normally you don't do that.
No, not especially not in New York.
And it didn't bother me. I just rolled down my window, and he looked at me. He said, brother, have you ever been to Africa? I said, no, I've never been to Africa. He said, brother, it's all over you. He said, brother, it's all over you. And to the day, I can't tell you what the brother looked like, what kind of car he drove, nothing about him. I can't say anything. But 6 to 8 months later, I was in Africa.
Ghana, precisely.
Precisely, I was here.
Okay.
And what had happened was, there was a Ghanaian brother came to my neighborhood. And when he came to our neighborhood, he married my priest's niece.
Okay.
And the family called him back to come home to become a chief. And so we said, okay, let's go with him to be a part of his journey. And the thing that happened was, the people told him, the people you are with are protecting you. And those are from the States. So we came back. And when we came back, we were supposed to go to another area and stay, but in Cape Coast. But it didn't work out. And we end up here.
Okay.
Further down the road here, there's a place, Oyster Bay.
Okay.
And we stayed there. And when we came, that was in 87 now, this was nothing but bush.
Right.
Nothing but bush, this whole area. And one of the elders in our community who was with us, he came down here and he said, hey man, there's land down here, it's nothing but bush and everything else. So he came down and he bought a plot. I never thought nothing of it. But it was just like, Okay. So from 1987 on, we start visiting this area, coming back here to Ghana. We start coming, I think it was about 18 or maybe 20 of us in the first trip. But then we just start coming back every year. And so what happened was, the sister that owns this place right here, her husband came back to live. And he started building this. And then she came back and she started building this, finishing.
Right.
They came in together.
Right.
Then our Kohen came and he started, well, Mabel's Table.
Mabel's Table, you guys, is a place that you guys got to make sure you come down here and check out. Mabel's Table in Cape Coast.
Well, basically, it's not Cape Coast, it's Itri. This is the Itri is the village we in.
Okay.
But you got to come this way through Cape Coast to get here.
Okay, got it.
Okay,
got
and Itri is a part of Elmina.
Okay. Oh, okay.
All right. So he came in '94, and so 205, I heard this voice saying, "Get out of America. I gotta go."
I understand that.
And
I understand that.
and I you know, I had to. I looked around at myself and I started thinking. I said, "Wow." So I said, "Well, I got to talk to my wife, and I got to talk to my mother." You know, I had children. So I talked to my wife and my mother. My mother was getting up there in age. So I spoke to them. I told them what was said to me. I have to get out of America. I have to come back to Ghana. They both gave me their approval. So I moved in 205. And I came. And I bought land. And I started building, me and my wife. And here I am today, 18 years later.
18 years later.
And 3 of my 4 sons been here. As a matter of fact, I got 2 of my sons here right now.
Beautiful.
But they only visiting.
Okay.
They're not-
Okay.
they're
Well,
not-
that's a blessing. Even in that alone,
that
it's
alone.
a blessing, right?
They're grown men, okay? But I want to bring up my youngest son. In 203, 3 of my sons came with a group of our other brothers in our community.
Mm-hmm.
And my son called me. And the first words came out of his mouth was, "Dad, nobody's looking over my shoulder."
Right, you know?
I said, "Son, that's what I'm trying to tell you. No police is bothering you, no nothing.
Right. So
It's peace."
It's peace. So let me go to this. So because the people here, they don't get it.
No.
They don't get it. And it's the peace. It's the part of not being bothered with the police. You know, it's the part of not being looked at like we're something sticking out the back of our head. You know, I had told somebody one time that, you know, somebody was like, they was saying, yeah, you know, when a white person walk by a black person, they have to clutch their purse.
That's
But
right.
when we walk by a white person, we got to look behind
Behind
us
us.
because they're ready to stab us in our backs.
Correct.
You know, so here it's weird because even sometimes I see the police sitting ahead of me and I'm driving. I'm like, oh, they're not about to come out after me if I pass them too fast. You know, so it's a lot of the stuff that's in our head from the U.S.
Mental problem.
Right. They gas us so controlled that we're scared just to be us.
Us.
So I get it. Being here, we get to be who we are.
We are.
We get to feel the way we want to feel. We get to be around people that look like us
Yes.
and be comfortable.
Be comfortable. And that's the truth.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So
But I'm seeing a lot of change.
Okay, and I'm sure you have because you've been here for so long and you've been coming for so long. So the change that I know, even you just talking about this here, you know, it was just bush. Now look at it. This is a beautiful resort, nice restaurant,
Yes.
and it's a lot happening.
A lot is happening. And so as I said, my son, that's what he said to me. That was his first words. And you know, that meant a lot.
Right, it says
Because
a lot.
as a parent, see, they always say mothers don't sleep when their sons are out.
And that's true.
And that's true. But
That's very
fathers
true.
don't either.
Right.
Because I didn't either.
Shoot, parents don't sleep.
No, in America, parents don't sleep when they got men or sons, I'll say.
That's away from home.
That's the way. And the thing is, and that's the problem, because we don't know. And I always used to tell my sons, and my daughter too at that time, don't call me after 10, 11 o'clock. Because when the phone rings, it's like, oh my God.
Right, right.
And that's the stress that we dealt with in America.
Right, right.
All right?
And it's still going
And
on.
it's still going on.
Very true.
Okay, because you don't know what's going to happen. But here, I don't sleep well, but I'm not worrying about that problem.
Right,
Here,
right.
all right? And like, so it's much more peaceful. So I'm here now.
Right.
I have seen things. You just drove down from Accra. When I came in '87, when we drove down from Accra at night, all you saw was candles on the road because there was no lights.
Really?
There were candles. Everybody had their
Wow.
candles on the light, and all you saw was candles
That?
going all the way down.
Wow.
And when you passed the villages, you saw candles, no lights.
Wow. I'm trying
And that was,
imagine that though.
yes. And back then, you brought your own toiletry. You brought your own water. You brought everything in. We traded clothes
Right.
for carvings,
Wow.
shoes for carvings.
Wow.
We went to a brie, and sometimes the brothers, we go where there were certain things, and then when we coming back,
You didn't go in with you came out with
back
something different.
and then that's the way it was back then. And you know, and it's like it's peaceful,
Right.
and it was enjoyable. And I watched things develop as time went on. But back then, it just was so much.
Right.
And then President Rollins, he called out for diasporas to come back home.
Okay.
But as I was saying, the Spirit told me to get out.
Right.
But I looked at prophecy also. And prophecy said, I will gather my people from the four corners of the earth and bring them back home.
Say that again.
I will gather my people from the four corners of the earth and bring them back home.
That's it. That's it.
Okay?
That's it.
No, and I told this bunch of school children, I don't know where I'm from. Y'all know where you're from. I don't. But I'm coming back to Africa,
Right.
where my forefathers came from. But I don't know where they come from.
Absolutely.
And then to go into these dungeons, and the people that call them castles, I have a problem with. I had a big problem with it. See, because we did a demonstration when they killed George Floyd
Okay.
in front of the dungeon.
Ah.
And I said to everybody then, this is not a castle, this is a dungeon. And I will not call it that,
So yeah.
because it's not a castle.
Right.
Especially to those of us, okay, who ancestors
Who had
left
lived
here.
here.
Because once you go in there, and I know you know, you come out feeling different.
Very true. Excuse me. Very, very true. Very, very true. I did the Elmina one too.
Yes.
The Elmina is the one that hit me the most. Because as I stood up at that podium, overlooking where the men were, I stood there and I closed my eyes. I can hear them. I heard the cries. I just started crying.
Yes.
The person I was with had to come get me because I was literally standing there crying because I could hear their cries.
Yep.
That's how hard it hit me.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, so I understand what you're saying because that's what it was. We were in dungeons.
We was in
We
dungeons.
wasn't in no luxury
No
room at no
luxury.
castle.
No.
That's what a castle is, something very
That's right.
nice.
Very nice and
Yeah.
luxury and everything else.
Right.
But my people here, they don't understand that. And they don't understand the frustration and the anger that comes up.
Right. Right. Right.
You-
When we have to deal with that
Deal
kind
with
of
that
stuff,
kind of
or when we
thing,
hear
hear
about
about
what's not being done correctly and how it should be.
Big.
Right.
And then the things that our ancestors went through here in these dungeons, to go to the last bath, to look at the fact that they said they marched for months down to the sea, and what they went through in the dungeons, it takes a lot.
Right.
And I say this to my brothers and sisters in the States. I don't think you all realize who your ancestors were. To go through the stuff that they went through for you still to be alive.
Absolutely. Even here,
Yes. No,
Even
they,
here.
they-
Some of them
they
don't know.
They don't understand that.
they don't. They don't.
But I'm saying to my brothers and sisters in the States, they don't understand what they went through.
right.
And you need to come. If you don't want to come to stay, you don't have to come and stay. But if you come for a visit and touch the land,
You'll
something
understand.
would happen. You will start to understand.
You'll
And that's
understand.
some of the things I realize. You have to come and sit down and just feel the vibration. And then you start to feel something within you. You feel connected. You feel home.
Right. 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 Very true.
You feel
Very true,
home and
very
connected
True. Very true.
and everything else.
And you'll know.
You will know.
You will know.
You will know. And you know, people like said what you just said earlier before we started the interview. What are you going to eat over there? Where are you going to stay over there?
Right. What kind of hut are you
How you
living
living
in?
in? Are you living in the trees?
Somebody even asked me what do the kids sit on in school.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, you know, the houses over here are better than the houses in
Right.
America, y'all.
You guys don't even understand that part right there.
And basically, I'm very thankful for the blessing that the Most High have blessed me with. And what I achieved here is great. I had things said to me and happened to me that, you know, I didn't understand what they meant and what happened. But when I got here, I started seeing certain things.
See?
And I'm start seeing some of the things that's been said to me manifest in my face. And it ain't good. Because some things have been said that it's not pleasant. But I'm accepting it and I'm dealing with it.
Right. And you could do that differently here.
Here.
So much different.
So much different. But I want to go back to one thing we were just talking about, peace. You know, in America, in Europe, before Africa really got into the telephone, media, TV.
I know what you're about to say. I just had this conversation last night. With my husband.
I don't know if it's true or not, but you want to know something? You didn't see killing. You didn't see all this fighting at all here in Ghana. Now y'all seeing it all. You're seeing what the world is really showing.
Right.
But that's not the African man and woman.
Right.
That's Europeans.
Right. Right.
That's their culture. That's their way of life.
Because you're not seeing that here.
You're not
Now,
seeing
don't
that
get me
here.
wrong. There's crime here.
There's crime here.
But not,
It's not
nowhere close.
Close to what it is in
Over there.
America and Europe.
Right. Not at all. Not at all.
All the world wars are Europeans.
Right.
We have tribal wars, they say, but it wasn't world wars.
Right.
But it's all that. And right now, Ghanaians in Africa is changing because of all the violence they're seeing on TV. They started off with the children with cartoons. Cartoons. And it leads all the way up.
Right. That's very true.
And
Very
that's
true.
and there it tells you who you're dealing with.
Right.
See, I'm going to go back to something else that was said to me. See, I have had things said to me spiritually that kind of got me. When I was young and got a little older to understand some things and life changed upon me, I had to question the Creator. And I wanted to know why. Why is it that the black man and the black woman is on the bottom of the totem pole of everything when we're the most loving and most peaceful people on the face of the earth?
Right.
I got my answer. A lot of people don't accept it. Can you prove that? Can you prove that? No, I can't prove nothing.
Well, let's hear your answer.
But my answer was, and what I received in my head, because you're stiff-necked and disobedient children, and I punished you.
Oh, wow.
And I said, what? You're stiff-necked, disobedient children, and I punished you. Now, when I started doing a little studying out of the Bible, I found that.
Okay.
But not in that same way. But that's what the scriptures talk about.
Okay.
He will punish us for a certain period of time. Who was taken from a land and brought to America and stripped of their culture, their language, their name, their children? Who? As it says, as Johnny Cochran said, if it don't fit, you must have quit. The glove fits. Prophecy fits those of us who've been taken out of here all over the world. We were taken from here.
Yes.
And that's prophecy.
Yes.
But we don't want to see that.
Okay.
We don't want to accept that.
Right.
And it's like, no, y'all, we got to look a little deeper and think about what was happening. This people that says they are the chosen people, ain't no way they are the chosen people. Scriptures even tells you in all aspects. Everything in that book that they using as the Bible, the Quran, is all speaking about a black people. It's no Europeans. But they'd make you think it's some Jewish boy somewhere. I'm sorry, but it's not. Prove it. I had this conversation with someone this morning. I've been some prison guards. I said, brother, let me tell you something. Right now where we're sitting, my sister, we're on the richest continent on the face of the earth. Now answer me one question. Would any father give the weakest son the best of everything? Or would he give it to the son who's the strongest, the wisest, and the one that he knows going to do the right thing? And I try to say to people, and especially my Ghanaian family, we are the people of that book. We are the people who are wiser and stronger in every aspect. If they ever gave us a even playing ground, we would outdo everybody.
For sure. For sure.
Okay? And that's why we're outdoing them in sports, music, and everything else.
Right.
But when we get an opportunity for the academics aspect, we overcome them on that one too.
Right. And it's happening more
And it's happening more and more.
Happening more
More and more. And right now, the black man has been put down and always stepped on in America. And he raised our women up. And as you may know, sisters may not want to understand it, but raise the sisters up to push the black man down and keep him out of the home. That's why they did.
That's what they did.
That's what they did.
Of course. That's when the women's rights came in. Right,
okay?
Exactly.
And basically, and it's destroyed the family.
Right. Absolutely.
See, I'm a little younger than you are. I'm a little older.
However you want to look at it, I'm good with it.
I'm a little older. And the thing is, it's like, keep the black man out of the house. Divide the children. When they came out with this thing, is like, you can't hit your children no more. You can't discipline. Listen, when my mother was disciplining me and my father
talk about disciplining back then.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You know something?
Oh.
Hey, you got beat 4 times before you got home. Nowadays,
Then
they
you get
tell-
home, you get beat 2 more times.
again.
You got mama and you
And
got
that-
papa. Ah,
But they stopped us from disciplining our children.
that's why they the way they are today.
That's the way they are today.
Right.
There's no respect.
Right.
And I see it in every aspect. I hear some things coming out of some people's mouths to their parents
yes.
that I would have never have done.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
You
I
wouldn't
wouldn't
have got away with
I
it.
wouldn't have got away with it.
And if you started, you shut down before
Shut down.
you even finish. Yeah.
I called everybody Mr. and Mrs.
Mm-hmm.
Young people call everybody by their first names. We lost a lot of stuff.
Right.
And when I came here to Ghana, I saw the same thing, the discipline. I'm seeing the breakdown now in Ghana.
Right. It's starting because they're starting that,
They
that
start-
law here too now.
Yeah, I'm seeing a breakdown. It's not the respect for the elders like it used to be.
Right.
And so, and I know where all this is coming from. And I'm here. I've been here for the 18 years. I'm loving to be in here. Members of my family were very upset at me.
Well, you know,
Because
that's the given, you know. And it's not that they're mad at you. They just, you know, they want you there.
They want you
My
there.
kids do the same thing. They're like, Mom, you're leaving. We ain't gonna see you. I'm like, well,
Why you ain't gonna see me?
right, you got an opportunity to come.
That's right.
We got videos, we got all kinds of stuff. You know, technology made it good these days. It can even seem like you're right next to you. You know,
Pick up this phone, we can talk back and forth.
all day if you want to. All
Now,
day.
I'm glad you brought up the phone.
Mhm.
Do you know when we first came here, we had to travel all the way to Accra and make an appointment to make
you
a
was
phone
telling me
call?
that night. You
Yes.
told me that. Yeah.
To make a phone call.
Right, right. Could you imagine driving all the way from Cape Coast? So in America, you don't know. So I can only speak for, let's say you drive all the way from Seattle to California to make a phone call.
Phone call.
Like that's the distance
That's the
he's
distance.
talking about, like from here to where he's talking about. So that's a long ways away.
That's a long
Just
way.
to make
Just
one phone call. And then come back home.
Come back
and what
home.
if you call and they ain't there?
You got to make another appointment to go back. Okay? So,
Oh.
those are the things we experience.
Right.
And like, you know, it was like, it's just so much. But you're seeing the change. Change is coming. And there's more diasporas coming more and more because they're starting to realize,
Absolutely.
they're starting to
Absolutely.
realize what's going on. And see, when you study the prophecy of life, the prophecy that's been written in that book, it talks about destruction. What are we going through now? What type of pandemic?
Oh,
What type of
God.
pandemic?
So many different pandemics, so many different hurricanes and all kinds of disasters.
All types of disasters
Right. They're
that's
coming.
happening.
Right.
And basically, that is all relating to the time that we're in.
Mhm.
And see, I don't know, I have a little ways the teaching of what they're teaching people. Heaven is not in the sky. Nobody told us that we're going to heaven to get our blessing. I don't know where they're getting that from. I don't see that. I never seen that. Heaven is right here. But it's hell for some of us. But it's
Right, because
heaven.
it's what you make.
That's right.
It's what you
But
make.
it's heaven.
Your heaven could be.
Heaven is not in the sky. Because if they read the scriptures on what they be talking about, God never said, I'm going to bring you to heaven so you can be peaceful. And if you go in the scriptures, they don't talk about you going to heaven. Okay? Heaven is the state of mind. Heaven is up here, where your mindset is. But that's another thing. I won't get into that story too. But to see, but we're going through a lot. And if I look at things and go forth, I'm in heaven.
So today, out of everything that you've been through, from the time you started coming here to the time you've moved here to today, how would you, a short summary of your life, of how it's done, what it's done for you and how it's got you to be where you're at today?
Well, I'm so happy to be here. I'm so happy to be one that was called out of America. And I look at that basically we, those of us who call, we are the pioneers to make a way for our families. Because there's one thing I learned, and I hope I'm answering your question right, that basically those of us who are diasporas from America, we don't have a place to go to if we don't come back here. If destruction hit America, what's going to happen? Where we go? Everybody got a home but us. Relate that to the scriptures. But being here makes me feel so good. And it's not been pleasant, and it's not been easy. Because I'm still carrying my baggage that I have from over there. All right? And so some of the things that I had to deal with over there, I still carry.
It's not easy.
But it's not easy. It's not easy.
Right.
And it's not easy. We're coming. And it's not easy living here because of the challenges, the language barrier, the culture barrier.
Right.
It's a challenge. I'm not an ATM machine.
Right.
I'm not rich.
Right.
And that's one thing that our Ghanaian family don't understand.
get that
They think
part.
we're rich.
Right. Right.
But like I told a young man this morning, I my second job, because I retired from my first job at 42 years of age.
Good for you.
But my second job, I would leave work sometime in the morning at 6 a.m. in the morning and get home 12 p.m. Or 1 p.m. that following morning.
Wow.
Yeah. I worked.
Right.
And that's not always, because when I retired from my first job, I chose to do something that I love to do. I love to drive.
Okay.
So I chose to do that. But I'm just saying, I had to say to them, listen, my friend, we work hard in America.
Right.
And so the little money you think we got, I'm not Jay-Z,
Right.
okay? I'm not these brothers who are billionaires,
Right.
who made it.
Right.
Most of us who come here, basically, we're living off a pension, Social Security, and that's it. We have a little bit of money, yes. Yes, the dollars value more
Right.
than yours. But that's not our fault,
Right.
because y'all got all the gold here.
Right. Right.
So when their leadership start to do the right things for them,
They don't understand.
they will understand, because the value of stuff will go up.
Okay, so go ahead.
I want to say to my Ghanaian family also, the greatest leader that the black community in America looked at was Nkrumah. But he don't get to just do that. He should get from the Ghanaian family. He's one of the greatest leaders of the 20th century. He's one of the greatest. And those who deal in Pan-African, that's we look at. But he's not getting to just do. And that's a problem, because he's looked at one of the greatest during that time, along with Marcus Garvey, Malcolm X,
Right.
King,
All them.
Elijah Muhammad. There's many heroes that people don't know. But Nkrumah, when he tried to pull the African Union and African countries to come together, that was the best thing could ever happen. Why you got, the reason Ghana is the poorest, along with most African countries, because the European want you to be poor so they can still control you. And that's the situation. You got 54 little people that can't compete to big nations. Why did America, you got what, 52 states in America? They all came together, huh? Didn't they? They fought civil wars to come together. They fought wars to bring that to one unity.
Right.
Here I am, we gotta go. If I go to Togo, they want us to have a passport and a visa. Why?
Right. From state to state,
State
in
to
the United
state.
States, you don't need nothing.
You don't need
just
nothing.
Go. Just go.
Yeah, you don't need
Right.
nothing. But they do
They
that
divide
here
them.
because we got men and women in position that don't want to give it up for their people. They want to only give it up for their own pockets. And that's a problem.
Okay, you guys, so before we sat down and did this interview or this
Communication talk.
right, getting together at this little meeting here, we ordered some food. And they're telling us that our food is ready, so and plus we haven't eaten all morning. It is morning time, and it is right here, our time, like 10:15. So you can imagine we haven't eaten at all yet since we've gotten up. So we're gonna end this here, but I want to say that I enjoyed this conversation with you. I enjoyed the information that you shared. I enjoyed the knowledge that you spoke, and I really hope that you guys really paid attention to what he was saying and really watched this whole video, because there's a lot of information there. There's a lot of knowledge in there, and something you may or may not agree with, but what can we say? We can't please everybody. But regardless, I really hope that there is something in there that will resonate with you, and it will make you want to say, let me come to Ghana. Let me come to Ghana, because there's something there that everybody keeps going there for and coming back different. And seeing these videos, listening to the people speak, let me go and see what's going on, and let me get a little taste of what they're talking about, see if I could get that feeling too. And if it hits you and you come to stay or you just come to visit, you know, at least you came. So thank you today.
Welcome.
You guys, I'm so happy to have met this man. Actually, I met him at a birthday party. So it was just a fluke. And so I saw him, I talked to him, and the things he was saying that night made me say I need to talk to him more. So here we are today.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. Until next time, like, share, subscribe, notification button, you guys. Bye.
Bye.